Have you been following this? Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. Any relation to Shane Reese?
No.
No?
No. Not as far as I'm aware. Be fun if we had that local connection, though.
And I love how two young ladies in the WNBA have become a referendum on race.
What it's devolved into, there's no doubt.
I know. It just cracks me up. Who would have known WNBA basketball? I think there's going to be uprising this summer. And then I understand Ryan Clark and Robert Griffin going back and forth, and Ryan Clark saying that Robert Griffin can't speak to it because he has no idea of the struggle of the black female because he's married to a white lady. He's had 2 marriages, apparently, and both of them have been to Caucasian women. Man, good thing DJ's not here right now. He'd be under the table. We're talking race.
He'd be squirming.
Can we just play hoop and leave it at that?
That's the thing about this, PK, is the play that is in major question here was it was a hard foul from Caitlin Clark, but if you watch the entirety of the play, there was nothing egregious, nothing out of line on it. Angel Reese took a major exception to it and went after Caitlin Clark, who didn't react whatsoever.
Yeah, but depending on your perspective, if the roles were changed, there'd be national outrage.
That's a good point, yes. But
we got to make it about race. It's not about a foul. It's about the reaction because you have a white lady and a black lady. And we must bring together some form of conflict and division.
Well, can't we just enjoy the fact that they're both really, really good basketball players and they're helping the WNBA raise its profile?
Big time. I think it's awesome for the young gals. They work, I've said this for years, they work just as hard as anybody else. The coaches, I've covered women's basketball. I covered the WNBA when they were here in town. I covered them on the road. I covered them at home. And you approach the assignment the same as every other assignment. You want to do your best, just like the players and the coaches involved in the games want to do their best. No difference there. But no, it has to be much bigger than that. It simply cannot be about a basketball game or a foul. Depending on your perspective and where you're coming from, it's got to be something big. And then we get the lectures about all the stuff that's going on. And some people have the license to lecture. Others, if you choose to respond, well, oh my gosh, look at you. It's the 50s in Provo, as the San Diego radio guy said.
Union Tribune guy. It's like comparable to walking down.
I think it was a radio guy.
Was it radio? Okay.
Yeah.
Still.
I think it was a radio guy. Yeah. They were hosing you down. You go around to, that's why I don't go to Provo. Are you kidding me? I got friends that don't look like me. If somebody found out, oh my gosh. I mean, just all this stuff. I just sit back with amusement and just that's the hot topic of virtually every day. We got to figure out some way to get that in there. And some of it is certainly legitimate and needs to be discussed. But every single thing, every time, it does wear you down because all you can do as individuals is just try to do your best to get along with your fellow man and woman and set an example for those underneath you. And away we go. I don't know that it'll ever be solved, but it certainly is exasperated. I put this on Facebook. Angel versus Caitlin. You into it. I'm into it. Yeah. If not for the humor factor. Proud to say, John says, I literally uppercase. I literally have no idea what the hell this is about. I don't believe you.
I don't believe you either. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, John, but here's the thing. It's taking discourse all over.
I know. If you're a sports fan, you have to know what this is about. If for no other reason, Caitlin Clark is just an unbelievable talent. You have to acknowledge that. She has got a game that is awesome. Reese has got a nice game, too. I'll give her that. She won an NCAA championship, didn't she, at LSU? Isn't that the one? And then Utah was on the verge of beating them in the round of 16, was it?
Correct, yeah. They had them on the ropes.
And they let it slip away right at the end.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then they went on to win the title there that particular year. Eldon, is this an MMA stunt? How about this? Good for the league. Any publicity is good. That's the old Mark Cuban line when Kobe Bryant was going through his thing at Eagle, Colorado. I don't know that any publicity is good for the league, but I don't necessarily have a problem that if WNBA players get feisty, why shouldn't they? If you think you have, if you are fouled hard, I think you have to stand up for it. And so I don't have any problem with what Reese did. She felt she got fouled hard.
But she'd also gotten away with a foul by shoving somebody in the back seconds before this.
I understand that. And isn't that gamesmanship?
It is.
Stockton didn't hold a little bit when he'd set those down screens?
No, people said you'd never run across the screen when John Stockton said or else
grabbed the jersey. And
or something else was going to happen below the belt.
So you had that stuff going on. Kobe Bryant, I once saw a thing on Kobe Bryant, which I thought was fascinating. He studied where the three referees were out on the floor. And he came up with there's certain spots on the floor that as the referees and their three-person crew are rotating, depending on where the ball is, he felt like it's almost like blind spots in your rear view mirror. You can see most of it, but you can't see all of it. And he felt that he could get away with a little bit more because of the way their eyes were. And he studied this. I think it was a documentary that they did on him, and I found it very fascinating as I'm watching. He went to that level of detail to know, hey, I can do this or this because they can't see based on where they are doing their rotations as the ball. We know there's usually one ref off to the side, one up top, one underneath the bucket. And as the ball would move, they would move accordingly. And so he felt like whether it's the right elbow or left elbow, that he would have certain spots there where he might have some opportunity to do stuff that might be considered a foul, but they can't see it, so they can't call it. And I thought, wow, that's just freaking brilliant. Every coach, every player is looking for an edge. You know, we saw that. We said that on the 90s with the steroids and into the 2000s on all that, right? I don't criticize those guys to the level because Bonds is seeing what Sosa and McGuire are doing, not just those two guys, but what average players were doing, and he was way better than them. So did he probably do it? Sure, to get that edge. And Andy Pettit talked about that coming back quicker from your what's the not the rebound time, but just the recovery is the word I'm looking for as a pitcher. And the rules were sort of vague, and there was a ton of gray area. Now they're suspending Jose Alvarado, the Phillies closer, apparently for some weight loss drug that he took.
Yeah, had testosterone in it, and obviously elevated his levels, and that's against the rules.
Yeah, and now he's out 80 games, and if the Phils make the playoffs, he can't pitch, and he loses millions of dollars.
Yeah, and his coach, the manager of the Phillies, has already said that they're essentially moving on without him for the rest of the year.
Well, I mean, they have to. Yeah.
You said you can come back in the middle of August, but, okay, great. He may get you into the pennant race, but then come postseason, he's not available.
I know. And he's very good.
Yeah.
A hard-throwing, big CC Sabathia type guy coming out of the pen as a left-hander is a very important, vital cog in what you're trying to do. So I appreciate that Reese got up and said, hey, wait a second. Caitlin Clark was almost beat to a pulp last year with all the hard fouls as they were trying to send a message to her for all the publicity that she had gotten that wasn't based on the professional, it was based on the college. And so you had that gamesmanship going on. But that's the world in which we live in, man, and it's out there, and it'll continue to be out there. And they're getting run. And women's basketball, I believe, over time will get better because it's a relatively new sport. I know for some it's not your cup of tea. For others, let it grow. See what it can become. Okay, we come back. We got Steve Cleveland joining us, and we'll talk to him on basketball, college basketball, BYU basketball, all the stuff that's going on in that sport. Stay with us. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.